There we go. All right. I feel like I see quite a few of your girls on now. So say I feel like I'm talking to a lot of mine, and they've heard my story like 100 times, but they're probably like, Stormy, we're tired of hearing your story. But just for you guys that don't know who I am, my name is Stormy Morris, and I'm out of Fort Worth. So I've been with the company for 3 years. March this month was my 3-year anniversary, and I am a gymnastics coach at a high school. So actually am the head of a middle school program and a high school program. So when I joined, I met Tammy through, she was the PR in our district. So she was helping us out with some gymnastics stuff. And I met her and kind of followed her for a little while and, became a little customer. And then she reached out to me about the business side. And I had a 6-month-old at the time, and my husband had legitimately just made the decision to go back to grad school. I mean, he was had just gotten accepted. And, of course I gave her the whole, I don't know if I have the time. I wanted to have the time. I just didn't know if I really did have the time. And, she gave me the whole, well, busy people make it work the best, and I was like, okay. And then after I signed, she came back and she was like, I didn't even know if you had the time. I was like, oh, well, thanks. So we joke about that now. But just to kind of give you guys an idea, 12 hours a day is like a normal day for me. That's like with nothing else. That's no youth program. That's no gymnastics meet. That's no freshman roundup, open house, go to the middle school, do all that stuff. That's nothing else. So I start my day about 7:15, and my varsity ends about 6:15 every day, and that's it. So this is my busiest time of year. So it was March. I had a 6-month-old. My husband was starting back at grad school. And I don't even know what the heck I was thinking, but you know what? I had that slight moment of bravery, which is all you need, or crazy, whatever you want to call it. And I jumped in. And so I went Ruby in 2 months, and I didn't really, I don't want to say I didn't catch the vision. I just don't know if I believed in the vision yet. I like to kind of say I hadn't drank the Kool-Aid. And so, I just kind of sat at Ruby. I never really promoted. I wasn't dropping rank, but I wasn't pushing it. And I just kind of hung out there. And then January rolled around, and a bunch of my friends or sideline sisters went to conference, and I kind of just saw something changing in them. And the red in me was I'm red through and through. There might be a smidge of green, a smidge of blue, but that's it. It's 98% red. And so I was like, well, they're going to go make money. I don't want to sit here and watch them. I guess I should go with them. I'm going to do it too. So the coach in me was kicked it into high gear. And I just kind of started really listening to what Tammy had been telling me, what I needed to do. And I was paid as a Ruby in January, and I was paid as a diamond in February and a double diamond in March. So, it moved really quickly. I promoted super fast, and I don't know, here I am. So that was 2 years ago that I went double diamond on my 1-year anniversary. So that's kind of my background, my story. To this day, I'm still working. Me and my husband had looked at the income chart, and he was like, double diamond is where you can talk about coming home. And I was like, okay. And then I went double diamond. He was like, I don't know though, this money's kind of nice to pay off debt, maybe triple diamond. I was like, hey, that's not fair. But I'm still working full time. My husband is still in grad school, y'all. He still has not graduated. He's gone 2 to 3 nights a week. We're still doing this thing. My daughter's 3 and I'm pregnant again. So again, some things have changed, but not a lot has changed. So that's kind of my background. Do you want me to just read through these questions? I don't want to make you re-ask them, or do you want to ask them to me?
No, yeah, you can just read through them. I didn't have too many for you, just what I sent over.
Yeah, and if you guys have anything else, put it in the chat, or y'all can stop me. So I'm just going to kind of go through what Tiffany had asked me. And how many hours a day do I average and I kind of already told you guys that. A 12-hour day is normal for me, November through May. That's my season. That's my competition season. Once May slows down, once May hits, it doesn't slow down much, but I might go home at 5:15, 5:30 every day. But I'm still there at 7:15. And, I do coach, so I'm not a subject teacher. So if you guys are a teacher on here, I do not want to downplay what you're doing at all, because I know that it's 100 times harder than PE. Okay. Like nobody tests my PE, high school PE kids. Thank God for that, because they don't even know the rules to kickball still. But it's like, I don't ever really have a lot of downtime to be on my phone, because I don't have like that desk job. I try to sneak it in here and there, but that's my day is just pretty much on my feet all day long coaching. And then, I run a youth program on Tuesday or Thursday nights. Right now I have, the past 4 weeks, I've had middle school meets every Tuesday and high school meets every Thursday. And I don't even know what my husband looks like some weeks, I couldn't tell you. He could have shaved his head and I wouldn't even know, because he's in grad school till 9:30, and then he comes home and I'm in bed, and vice versa. So we just kind of tag team the parenting thing right now. And then the breaks, I pretty much work year round as far as that goes, because summer I practice my girls 3 days a week for 8 weeks in the summer. So, they're still practicing. Spring break, I had practice this morning. It's just not a sport that you can really take off on. So, but more than anything, that kind of helps me, because when I'm off a full day, like a Saturday and a Sunday, it kind of throws me for a loop, and I get kind of too relaxed because I have too much time on my hands. So I kind of like that I work year round, because it makes me stay on a little bit more of an intentional schedule. So that's my day. How do I fit this into my schedule? Okay. I've got like a billion notes on this, you guys. The first thing you have to understand is you're going to have to be flexible, and you're going to have grace with yourself. And that took me a really long time to understand. Understand and actually believe that. Ashley Sinclair said something a long time ago that was like, if you can lay your head down on the pillow every night and know that you did your best, then you can go to sleep. And that's something that I really took to heart, because there are nights that I know I laid down and my efforts compared to somebody else's efforts that day might not have been the same on paper. I might have only sent 10 new messages, but it legitimately was everything I got done that day. I helped my team. I set up the parties. I did all these things, and I can lay my head down and know that I really truly worked my business as much as I could that day. And it was intentional, and I got it done. I didn't just scroll Facebook. So that took me a little while, because I would stay up till 2:00 some nights, just trying to keep up with the people who had different lives than me, or different schedules than me, or different seasons than me. So you have to really have some grace with yourself, and understand that you'll never feel perfectly balanced. And right when you feel like you have it down, it flip-flops and it changes, but the bottom line is you're not alone. It doesn't matter if you do this business full-time, or if you work full-time, or if you do, split part-time, you're not alone. Everybody is struggling for that balance. And only you know what that looks like in your life, and only you know how much time you can devote to the business. But as long as you're working it intentionally every day, I think you have to just be okay with that at the end of the day. Okay. But you also have to be okay being no, I didn't do a very good job today, and I'll do that with myself too. So that's the first thing, is I'm flexible with it, and to the best of my abilities. Tammy's on, and she's probably laughing at some of the things I'm saying, because she's got to tell me these things 122 times a year, but so I am listening. I don't know if she always knows that or not, but I'm listening. And then the second thing is how I worked it when I was promoting my first year to how I work it now is totally different. I don't know if this might be too much information, but I was breastfeeding at the time. So I was breastfeeding 20 minutes a day, 3 times a day. And so every time I sat down to breastfeed, that's when I sat down and sent my messages, I had a rule of 3, and I knew exactly what I was going to do that night before. Peekaboo. Just a second. Sorry. Sorry. Hey, can you turn the light? Thank you. All right. Sorry, my daughter's bye. So how I worked it my first year versus how I work it now is different, because they look a little different. But that's the only time I legitimately worked it. I really did not go home and stay up till midnight when I was promoting to Diamond, y'all. I put in 45 to 30 to 45, 50 minutes a day, because sometimes that's the thing, is sometimes I couldn't sit down and work it. Sometimes in those 20 minutes I was, sending emails for a meet, or I was getting ready for something, state meet coming up or whatever. So when I say I legitimately worked 30 to 45 minutes a day, that's promoted all the way to double diamond. That's the only thing I did. The only thing that's been hard for me to find balance after that, and if you're a leader on, you can relate, is because you have to find time to pour into your team, pour into yourself, and you have to do your own work so that you are like constantly leading from the front and showing them that. So that was and when I went double diamond, that all switched so fast that I really did struggle with that for a little while. But, you know, I'm pretty organized. I don't want to say I'm like the most organized person in the world, but I'm pretty organized, and I'm pretty intentional with my time. I really try not to get caught up in like Facebook scrolling. I do watch some trash TV. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I don't stay caught up on it, but I do watch it. And the biggest thing that I've learned this year is just understanding, as a leader, there's a lot of fluff, and as a distributor, whether you're a distributor or you're in triple diamond, there's a lot of fluff that you can get caught up in. And I got really caught up in that last year, trying to do things that, the bottom line, it just didn't really matter. You know, like it wasn't income producing, and it wasn't putting people in the computer. And this year I've really tried to let go of that and like shed it. And it has really brought like a new fire into my business because I don't feel so bogged down. Some days I don't feel like I'm doing, you know, some days I do feel like, oh man, I should be doing this. But for the most part, it has brought a new life into my business. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that when we talk about being organized. But, you know, sorry, my daughter got me all off. As far as just fitting it into my schedule, the bottom line is it doesn't always fit into my schedule. That's what you need to know is I make it fit into my schedule. It does not always happen like that. I make the time. I make a point to do it. Sometimes I wake up earlier than I really want to. Sometimes I stay up a lot later than I want to. Sometimes I don't watch that trash TV. I've been known to not shower or wash my hair for about 4 or 5 days. Like I shower, but I don't wash my hair. There's a lot of things that, I'm not going to lie to y'all, there's a lot of things that I cut out to make this business work. But there's never been a time that I opened up my income check and was like, man, I really wish I would have seen Vanderpump Rules this week instead of worked my business. Like, you know, never. I don't remember if it was Tammy or Ashley that says you give up the good to get the great. And every time I'm discouraged and every time I feel like, you know, man, I'm just giving so much time to this, I remember what it's given back to me. And that makes me continue to want to pour into, like, to fit it into my life, to fit it into my schedule. So just priority, I guess. I've just made this business priority. So let's see. When I have pockets of time, where do I focus? You know, I get my phone out in between every class period, and I know my schedule is different, but let's say you have like 5 minutes, okay? 5 to 10 minutes, which is in between each class period. That's the time I really try to check in with my chat. I'll hop on Facebook and try to do like 5 or 6, 7 interactions real quick. That's the time I add people, check notifications on Facebook if I've posted, you know, and I want to like real quick interact with the people who are responding to it. And then if I've sent any messages, that's the time I'm going to respond to them. So those are like quick things that you could do in 5 to 10 minutes. Sorry, I'm like about to get the hiccups. Now, in my off periods, I'm a little bit more structured with what I do. The first off period of every day, the way my schedule works, I kind of have like 2 off periods because our school starts at 9, but I come in at 7:15. And so just the way it works, my middle schoolers are already gone when our school's starting. So they're my first period, but I don't have a first period. So that's the time that I try to send my new messages. So if you have a block of time at the very beginning of the day, that's when I would suggest sending your new messages, because then you have those people responding back to you all day long. And then in your 5 minutes, in your bathroom break, in your whatever you're doing, like that's when you can respond back and keep those conversations going. So that would be that's what I try to do first thing in the morning, is send any follow-up messages or any new messages out. And then throughout the rest of the day, depending on what my workload looks like, I just prioritize like what I need to do as far as like, do I need to, plan my posts for the week? Do I need to set up parties for my team? Do I need to, leadership tasks in general, check in with my distributors, check in with my loyal customers, charts, add to my hundreds list, whatever that is. Like I just prioritize, and then I look at everything I need to do that week and I put it on the day that it needs to be done. So like if it's not that big of a deal that I don't chart until Thursday, then Thursday's when I chart. And, Mondays when I set up the parties for Wednesday or whatever it is. And only what that prioritizing looks like, so I can't tell you like, this is what you need to do on Tuesday and this is what you need to do on Wednesday. But that is me personally, how I do it. Again, when I was talking about when I promoted, I did the rule of 3, which Tiffany, you've seen it probably, right? The rule of 3
for follow-ups,
just in general, just like working the business.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I promoted the double diamond, is I did that rule of 3 every day, and I filled it out the night before. And so that when I did have that pocket of time, I'd be like, whoop, and I'd pull it out, and like, I knew exactly who I was going to message. And it's so simple. It's, it's 3 new people for loyal customers, 3 new people for distributors, follow up with 3 current loyals, follow up with 3 current distributors, post, to-do lists, like it has all that stuff. And then it was 3 things you're grateful for and 3 people you can encourage in your business. And there was days that if I had an hour to work my business, I would do that. I would do the rule of 9. Okay. Like I wasn't going to stop at 3 if I had time and if I had people to talk to, but that was the minimum that I allowed myself to do every single day when I was trying to promote. And again, filling it out at night. And it is so easy if you only have 30 minutes to pull it out and know exactly who you're going to talk to. And again, this is, you have to be organized if you're working with very little time. You have to. There's no other way. If you're not, you'll feel like you're spinning your wheels constantly trying to figure out how to get it all done. And then the last thing is my tips on staying organized and working full time. I do an enrollment spreadsheet, first of all. So that's how I keep up with all my enrollments. I have it right here. I can't get it out. Sorry. This belly is in the way. I can't reach that far. So this is just like, this is from prior, but this is my enrollment spreadsheet. And I keep that, in a little sheet protector, and I have their name, their ID, the day they signed, and where I placed them at, so that I know if a BOGO comes up, or if I'm trying to, there's one leg that we're trying to promote on, or I'm short volume over here, whatever it is. I know exactly who I need to go through and message on that leg. Like I can go through and scan through and be like, okay, these 10 people are under her. I'm going to reach out to them and let them know about their perk points, see if they want to place an additional order, versus like spending hours on tree viewer or organization viewer trying to figure out where everybody is. So this helps me a lot. It also gives me somebody to talk to when I'm messaging my current loyals. I'll go through and pick like 5 or 10 in a week, or that's what I try to do, and check in with them. So I highly, if you haven't been keeping up with your enrollments, I would definitely suggest you do that. The second thing is I have my hundreds list. And I know you guys a lot of y'all y'all probably all seen Alyssa's Zoom, and I've started trying to kind of do that the way she does it. I used to have my hundreds list on paper, but I've recently, yes, Sarah, I can. It's just one I made up. It's nothing big. And that's helped me a lot. So I add to my hundreds list like once a week, but throughout the week, I am writing down people that are like watching my story. So I write it down like Tuesday, and I write everybody that's watching my story or that I interacted with or that liked my stuff or whatever. And then I go back and once a week I add to them. And then, from there, I pick like 15 to 20 people to interact with throughout the week, and I interact with them for like 3 or 4 days, and then they get a message from me. So it's kind of like a Claire Flores / Alyssa method that I do personally. And like, I'm not going to go too far into that because she's the enroller queen, so I'm going to let her talk about that. But that's how I keep up with my hundreds list, is on a Google Doc. So I always have it on my phone. And I can look up and see when the last time I've talked to somebody is. If I'm in the car for 3 hours, it gives me an idea who to talk to. And I'm like a dork. I kind of color code it. Like you know, like this week is blue and this week is green and this week, and then if like they're really hot lead, they're red, and you know, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of dorky, but it works for me. And so I don't spend every day adding to my hundreds list because I don't feel like I need to do that. I need to spend my time messaging. So I take one day a week and add to my hundreds list all the people that I've written down, pick who I'm going to talk to and go from there. But you need a hundreds list, whether it's on paper, whether it's on Google Doc. I mean, whatever it is, use Excel. I know Jen Strout and Jamie, they're like Excel queens. They do everything on Excel. And I'm just like, I just need to like figure out how to add all these totals up at the bottom. Like I'm not that good, but they are. So it works for them. And then a calendar or planner. You have to have a calendar or planner. That's where I write the people that tell me that when to follow up with them. And that's where I write what I've been posting about. So I'll write throughout the week. I might write like cleanser, exfoliating pill, greens, you know, cleanse. And I write what day I'm going to post about the products. And I try to stick to that pretty much. So that you're not posting about greens every day. You're not posting about wraps every day or your hair, skin, and nails. Because, you know, we can get kind of stuck in a rut of posting about the same things over and over again. So what I try to do, and then also I can go back and see when the last time I've posted about hair, skin, and nails. Like, oh, it's been 10 days. I'm good. I can post again. But that way you're getting through all the products and, you know, it helps keep me accountable. Another thing I've done is I've opened up like a catalog and stuck it in my planner, and I've X'd off every single product until I got to the end. And then I threw that catalog away and started over. Catalogs are precious now because they stopped making them, so I don't do that anymore, but that's something I've done before. If you have an abundance of them. And then planning my day out, again, that's something I've really already talked about. I just, you know, plan out what I need to do kind of more on Sunday for the week. And then getting a system, I think, is the big thing for me. And I don't have the perfect answer for that because I've probably revamped my system like 14 times in the last 2 years because, again, I like cut a lot of the fluff out. I figured out, you know, what I did need to do and what I don't need to do and what I do need to do. And I'm in the process of revamping it again. So, I mean, I have no problem sharing what I've done in the past with you guys. Like I have several different formats. But again, I'm not really using one in particular right now because I'm just using my planner and a to-do list. And that seems to be keeping me more on task than the thing that I worked like 4 hours on. Tammy can tell you. I'm like, this just green notebook seems to be working better for me. So sorry, I don't really have an answer on that one right now. But what I will say is you got to find what works for you. What I finally did is I wrote down like, shut up, Tammy. I wrote down like the 10 things, the non-negotiables that I felt like I needed to be doing every week. And then I put 3 on each day. And that's how I started. So that's what I've been doing. And then lastly, your notes and your photos being organized. I know that sounds like so dorky, but that could not be more crucial if you're short on time. I don't know about you guys, but I'll spend like 2.5 hours looking for a post that I liked that somebody did back in, you know, like 2015. And I was doing that. And now I spent one time the entire time on a plane. Me and Tammy did it together and we organized every single thing in our notes. So mine is like, I mean, it's pretty, but it helps me stay organized. So I have like, if I need a cleanse post, like I know exactly where to go. So like, I don't know if y'all can y'all even see that? No, I don't think you can see it. So basically it's like energy, essential oils, follow-up messages, greens, hair, skin, and nails, Instagram 20 method, you know, keto coffee, keto creamer. Like it's just boom, boom, boom. And then when you open it up, I try to have a short description of it. And then all the posts that I've either made and I liked, or if I see like Tiffany post something and I like it, I'll save it, edit it, put it in there. And then that on a day that I don't really know what I want to say, or I don't have, you know, nothing's coming to me, then I go and boom, I have something. So, and same thing with the photos, you know, like if you see an inspirational quote, start you an inspirational quote album. Start you a before and after album, start you a selfie album. I mean, just so that you have that stuff organized, because I got 14,000 pictures on my phone and it'll take me a while to get through them, you know? So those would be, my top tips. I get top tips, I guess, on staying organized. I don't know if that's helpful, but the biggest thing is, and we heard this at conference, is work based on what you want and not how you feel. And that, when you have a full-time job, you guys, and you have kids and you got life happening, like that could not be more true. And I'm not saying that I've never not done that, because I have. I've worked on based how I felt and did a whole lot of nothing this fall, and I'm paying for it. Like, I'm paying for it dearly right now. I'm having to like double time everything I'm doing right now just to keep up. And but something that recently kind of came to me is, I was like, can you imagine if we gave our full-time bosses the excuses we give ourselves not to work the business? Like, would you have a job? I don't know. But you kind of have to think about that. So if it probably wouldn't work in your full-time job, it's probably not going to get you where you want it to go in the side gig. That's something that I kind of try to tell myself.
No, I love that.
Okay, well, that is all I got.
No, I love that a lot. And I think that it's really true, especially when you said something about messaging in the bathroom, and I had to giggle because there was times when I worked 60 plus hours a week and I could not have my phone at my desk, that I became that bathroom girl. And it's what you have to do. I mean, get the messages in somehow, some way, whether it's follow-ups or, one or two messages while you're in the bathroom, or encouraging someone on your team, or maybe you're, checking in on a post. But I love that a lot. Thank you for sharing your story and everything that you do during the day.
Of course.
Okay. Do you just want me to go through the list that you sent me?
Yeah, if that works for you.
No, that is perfect. So a little background for people that do not know me. I am Tiffany Pfifer, and I joined October 2015. I did not join to make money. I did not join to come home. I did not join for anything except for a pure distraction from a hard loss that we suffered. I thought I was brand new to my town, and thought if I met some new friends, then it was a win-win. And if money came, then that was just the sprinkles on the cupcake. So I did not really jump in head first. I kind of just dabbled in it. I really leaned on my sponsor. I did not sign my first distributor or customer till the last week of my first month. I went executive at the end of the next month, Ruby at the end of the next month. And I remember I didn't go to my first conference because I was still extremely skeptical. So I did not go to my conference, or the first one. Nina, who's my sponsor, came back and said, Tiffany, there's a $20,000 diamond bonus. And at that time, I was a Ruby with about 2 more on my Emerald chart. So I didn't have hardly much going towards diamond at all. And I was like, I can do this. Hold on one second. Hey, turn your iPad. Hey, puppy, mommy's on the phone. Okay. Hold on. Let mommy talk, and then we'll do it, okay? Sorry, y'all. I'm like solo. So anywho, she comes back and she tells me that there's a $20,000 diamond bonus. And at that time, I probably had 25 days. And I was like, well, I'm going to do everything I can. So it just lit a fire that I did not have. And I just ran. I had no clue what I was doing. All I knew is what I needed on that chart. And I knew that I did not necessarily have a team of people underneath me working. So I knew not only when I got those distributors, I had to fill those boxes too. So I promoted to diamond in 4 months. And that's kind of where I've been since. So a little bit about how I signed so many people. I will say that before I tell y'all any of this, what Stormy just said is so true, that there's nights and days that I don't feel necessarily like doing everything that I'm fixing to tell you, but fillings will not increase your finances. And when you reach the rank of diamond and you have the potential to earn cabs, in my mind, I am able to write my own paycheck. The more people that I help with this company, the more people that I help jump in, the more people that I help to, and I share this opportunity with, those are, that's me writing my own paycheck too. So even with the hardships that we had this whole last year, I never once lost rank because I was just enrolling people like crazy. So with that said, the very first message, or the very first question she asked me was, how many messages do I send a day? And I send 100. And I know that sounds scary to some people. But I want to tell you how I do this. So there's some days that I do this all at one time. There's some days that I don't do this all at one time. When I say I send 100 messages, that could be, brand new messages plus follow-up messages. But I make a point to at least make contact with 50 new people a day. And then if I can make more contact with more people than 50 a day, then I will. But I try at least 50 a day and at least 50 in follow-up. As far as, how long would I say that takes me? It depends. It depends on my day. I am home now. This company brought me home after 7 months. I decided that I would come home, focus on my business, spend time with my son before he starts kindergarten. So my days are completely different. There's some days it may take me all day. And like Stormy said, my head won't hit that pillow till I have sent out my 100th message. But there's some days I get it all done before noon. It just kind of depends on my son and I's activities for the day. It depends on, do I have to go to the grocery store? Do I have to take my mom to the doctor? Or is it a work from PJ home, day all day long? So that really just depends. And I will tell you though that something that has truly helped me is I've set an alarm on my phone one time for every hour for 8 hours straight. So when I came home, I told my husband, I'm not coming home to sit down and watch the Ellen DeGeneres show and to watch Let's Make a Deal and, soap operas and everything else. I'm coming home to make $1 million. So that TV does not come on, even though I'm home all day long. If it does come on, it's because my son is watching cartoons and that's it. But that's just something that I've done. So I look at my day as if I don't have doctor's appointments for my mom or grocery stores or whatever the case is. I look at my day as an 8-hour day, regardless of the fact of if I was at my corporate job or the fact that I'm at home. And I dedicate a good 8 hours to this business. Because this is my job. This is my full-time job. It's my job to help my team get to the level that I am at. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make that happen. Bye-bye. Okay, hold on. Be careful with her, okay? So, I set an alarm on my phone for every hour, and I do something for my business every hour, whether that's message 25 people, follow up with 25 people, comment, for 10 minutes on Facebook, just go down for 10 minutes and comment, or go down on Instagram for 10 minutes and comment. Engage. I may send encouraging messages to my distributors, check in with loyal customers. Whatever the case is, I am dedicating something to my business. And when you add it up, it's really not that bad, because I may spend, 10 minutes here, going down and liking people's posts, or I may spend, 20 minutes here messaging 25 people. So by the end of the day, I may have done something 3 hours total, but I just broke it up throughout the whole day. So when I say 100 messages, you can break that up. I mean, if you truly want to sign more distributors, you can. You just have to stop thinking about the number 100 as a whole and break it up throughout the whole day. When sending potential distributor messages, is she sending to every person on her feed, or is she being mindful? I do not message everyone on my feed. You would not, for example, I'm very particular about who I add on my social media, but there's people still that slip through the cracks that may have a bajillion, they may have 100 photos on their Instagram and they're nothing but quotes. Or they may have 2 photos on their Instagram and they're of them with the middle finger up. I mean, those type of people are not going to be good in this business. They're not going to be someone that I would want to work with. If I go to their social media and the F-bomb is, and I don't mean like fat bombs, but the F-bomb is everywhere all over their social media, I'm not going to message them. So no, I am extremely picky with who I message. Even though I put in a great quantity of people, I want quality people. I want people that want this like I want this. I want people that I can relate to. So yeah, just be very mindful of when you go to their page, because that's what you should do before you message anyone. You should go to their page. If you can't relate to at least one of the first 9 photos on their Instagram, you probably don't want to message them. How does she send a no-risk message? So a no-risk message is the bulk of my messages. When I'm reaching out to people that I've never talked to before, I only send no-risk messages. And it's something similar to this. It changes all the time, but it's something to the sort of, and I can send this to Stormy so that she can give this to y'all word for word. But it's something along the lines of, this is so random, but you popped in my feed this morning and I totally crept on your Instagram. I can't stop thinking, why on earth you're not in this business I'm already in. You would be so good. If you're ever interested in making a few hundred extra a month, I would love to chat with you. Hope you have a great day. And I pray this message didn't bother you, just felt led to message you. And thank you for keeping my feed so uplifting and positive. So we're always, I should say we're always, when I first joined, I was trained to end a message with a question. You're always trained, does this sound like something you would do? Does this sound like something you'd be open to? And they worked for me. Don't get me wrong. I signed people with those messages too. I just wanted to grow more relationships with people. I wanted people to know that I was going to their Instagram. I wasn't just spamming people. And so, Alyssa and I, we both kind of came up with a no-risk message together, and it's just been such a good message. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry. So basically a no-risk message is just anything that you just start the conversation, they popped in your feed, you basically hint at the fact that they would be great in the business, and then you compliment them like none other. If you saw, when you went to their Instagram, if you saw that, they had a son, or, they had a little boy or a little new baby, or maybe their dog, you could even end it, P.S. your dog is so adorable. Or your son and my son would be best friends. I mean, just something to make it really personal. Another thing that I do before I message anyone is I like 4 pictures and I comment on 1. I will, and you can always, it doesn't have to be 4 in 1. The whole point is I try to, you don't want to do it. Ashley said this one time on a Zoom. You don't want to pop up in their feed like 20,000 times. You're going to look like a creeper. So as long as you can pop up in their news feed, though, a good 4 to 5 times, then most likely they're going to want to add you back, for 1, and 2, they are going to probably respond to your message because they know that you actually took the time to go to their page and to look at their stuff. And plus, it's a really great routine to stick to because it makes you make sure that they're not in network marketing, because we don't want to be those type of people. She doesn't want on that box, sweetheart. No, I'm not putting her on that box.
Want me on there.
Well, you go for it, bud.
Okay.
Target audience. So I'm targeting people that relate to me. I'm not going to, I mean, people that relate to me. And what I mean by that, you know, when I go to add people to my social media, period, Miles, be careful, please. Like, Lord help me. I'm not going to yell at you. Y'all, I am so sorry. So I'm just going to pray he doesn't fall, because this is what happened during our video when we just did a live party. So, anywho, what was I saying? My target audience. So I'm going to add people that like infertility, boy mom, toddler life, you know, stuff that relates to me, because those are the people that I'm searching for. And that is the, hold on, y'all. Okay, sorry. So you just want people that relate to you. It goes back to, you know, as far as, do I message anyone? I mean, your feed should be, it should resemble who you would be friends with. If you were to meet new friends, that's who you want on your feed. So that's my targeted audience. You know, it's not to say, I never went to college. I was one that did not go to college, but I have several people that went to college that are on my team. So it's not to say you can't work with someone that you don't necessarily have that connection to, but every single person that is on my team that went to college, I 90% found them through like a hashtag coffee addict or coffee or something like that, because we have that in common. So I hope that makes sense, that even though you don't, there doesn't mean that they're all infertile or they're all boy moms. Just something that you relate to them somehow, some way. My phone went black. Hold on. How long does she stick before giving up? So how long do I message people before giving up? I will tell you that one of my distributors who's on here right now declined me for 2 years. She was one of the very first people that I asked. And she declined me for 2 years. And I mentioned the loyal customer program. So that's a tricky one, because I don't give up on anyone. I truly don't. I will tell you about the 4th or 5th time I get a no is when we have a really good loyal customer promotion, or maybe we need volume for a certain area on your chart. You can try to flip the script with those potential distributors and ask them if they want to sign up as a loyal customer. But even when they sign up as a loyal customer, I'm still going to, when we have certain promotions, I'm still going to ask them about the business, because when I know in my heart that someone's going to be good at this, I'd be darned, I'm not going to be that person that never followed up with them and then they ended up signing up with someone else. Because I promise you, if you're not asking them, someone else will ask them, and they will sign up with someone else. They could be their rock star, and then you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt because you never asked them. So it's a kind of double-sided answer. You know, don't give up on people, but after about the 3rd to 5th time, I would say that they've told you no, you can try to flip the script and get them in as a loyal customer. But even then, don't give up on them. When building a relationship, how long do I spend building it? When I add someone to my Instagram, I do one of two things. If I go to their page and I am blown away by something on their page, or I just have this gut feeling, I will like 4 photos, comment on 1, and send them a message right then and there with no engaging. But I have to have something in my gut that just is in all of the first 9 photos that I see. I don't like to call it a cold message because that's just not my cup of tea, but I'm engaging to some point. And I don't do that to everyone. As far as everyone else, I will engage with them for probably about a week. And by engaging, just commenting on a couple photos, liking a couple photos, and then I send a message, a no risk message. I always do, like I said, 4 likes, 1 comment, and then send a message after about a week. That's kind of my system, if you want to call it a system. What is your social media posting like? So it's changed. I mean, and that's the thing, like I can tell you what I do right now, and in a couple months it'll probably change again because the algorithm is crazy. When I first joined, I was literally posting almost like every hour, and we used this thing called airplane mode, and you could like freeze all your photos and send them through, and all I had to do was tap them, and it didn't hurt your algorithm, and everything's changed. It's completely different now. Now we have Instagram stories. Hold on. Well, it's because, hold on. Oh, it's there. But now we have Instagram stories, which is really huge. So if you're not utilizing Instagram stories, that's where the magic happens. That's where you want to start posting on Instagram. I post now maybe once a day on Instagram, legit once a day. I know that sounds crazy for anyone that's been in for a while, maybe joined back when, me and Stormy might have, just because that's so different than when I first joined. But that's just how the algorithm is. Like today, I have not posted at all. I have in my story, but I have not on my actual Instagram. Instagram stories get more attention than your actual Instagram post. You always want to have at least 1 poll up a day on Instagram. It doesn't have to be business related. It doesn't have to be product related. It could be completely personal. I think the other day I posted some old windows in my garage because I am just a vintagey type person. And I kind of asked a question, who loves old stuff like this? Yes or no? It was totally personal. And then four stories later, I posted something business related. Who wants to grow their hair out with a poll? So polls are huge. On Facebook, I post maybe 2 to 3 times a day on Facebook. I wouldn't say that I am a big Facebook poll person yet. That's not what I've done yet. I'm sure it's going to be just as busy and big one day as Instagram stories, but it hasn't kind of kicked in yet. And it's just one extra step that I sometimes forget to do. There is a way that you can actually make your story feed to your Facebook stories. But I haven't figured that out yet. So Facebook doesn't have polls yet. It just has the stories. If I said polls, I'm sorry. It just has you can have the Facebook stories. But if you have a poll, it hasn't quite caught up to Instagram. But I don't say this to scare you. As far as everything that I do, everyone's day is different. Like Stormy said, you have to figure out what works for your schedule. And that's just something that's worked for me. I know where I'm going with this company. I know where I want to go with this company. I know what I need on my chart. And I know that, I was always told to look at your chart and fill it up yourself. If your team helps you, that's just icing on the cake. And that's just something that it's just part of leading from the front. In all honesty, it's something that you just want to not, leave it up to your team. It's not like I'm sitting here, trying to go double going, okay, so-and-so, you're in charge of Emerald and you're in charge of Diamond. And I'm just going to sit back and worry about these, 400 boxes up here. Cause that's not fair. That doesn't make me, a leader, and that's not fair for my team. So I'm going to look at what I need on my chart, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to get it. And I can tell you right now, I'm charted for triple. In 90% of my triple chart, I have enrolled myself. It's just, that's just how I was taught. It's just, turn it down. Okay, you gotta turn it down, guys. Hold on, let me get this turned down. Okay, sorry. Do y'all have any other questions for me?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Really quick. Sorry, it made me think of it. So, do you interact or message people who aren't following you back, just that you're following?
Sometimes. And the reason I do that is because, so Instagram will allow you to follow 30 to 35 people an hour. And since I message so many people, I'm targeted where I guess I'm in their little, their eye. I can only message 25 an hour. So I know that if I hit my, like if I'm having a good hour, you know, I told you, sometimes I break this up through the day. Sometimes I can knock it out fast. But if I'm having a really good hour and I message my 25 and I have time to do more, I can't message more and I can't add more because I've already hit my limit. So I will just go find my target audience and I'll go like and comment on their photos. Just because most of the time when you comment or you like 4 and you comment 1, you're going to get a friend request. So it just kind of depends. If you have time, it's not something I do unless I meet my limit, if that makes sense.
No, it popped into my head because I still have like that followers app. And so a lot of times if people don't follow me back within like a certain amount of time, I'll go through and unfollow them, even though I thought maybe they would be good. So I've been thinking about that a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else have any questions for her? Anybody? Check the chat. No?
It really, I mean, it all goes back to what, you know, we both said. I can't reiterate enough that, you know, some days you're not going to feel like doing stuff, but this business truly can change your life if you just get the fact, the mental side out of your head, like what is holding you back from messaging people or what's holding you back from reaching out to people. And if you're working this business solely on social media, like I am super shy, believe it or not. So I'm not one to go to the grocery store and just, you know, blitz hundreds of people. That's just not my character. So I know if I'm going to be successful, I have to reach out to the hundreds that are available through social media. So, how do you figure out who to follow through hashtags? Something that would relate to you, I would tell you what I would say is to write 10 things that describe you, 10 things that you like, and then turn those into hashtags. Because if I had to write down 10 things, it would be that I'm a boy mom, that I'm a wife, that, you know, I'm a believer, that I'm new to the panhandle, that, you know, I mean, I could go on and on. Okay. But, you know, and that's kind of where you're going to find your own hashtags, but you can go up to search in Instagram and just hashtag, you know, hashtag boy mom, hashtag infertility. Another big thing that I've been doing lately, because we are fixing to move to Lubbock, you can also target locations. So I've been going and targeting Lubbock, Texas, and finding, you know, sororities or finding coffee shops, people that checked into coffee shops, and I'm adding people locally. And what's funny, and this is just to show you how it's so crazy how you grow within this company, because 2 years ago when I started, I could have easily been doing that, targeting my location. As many distributors as I have signed, not one is from my town. Not one. I have nobody local in my town. I think I have almost 400 underneath me now, and that's just my whole organization, and not one is in my town. So I wish I would have thought about this back then, but it's just a part of how you grow within the company. Like, you're going to find different tricks along the way, the longer that you've been in the company. So yes, I'm moving. No, yeah, Zach got a new job, so we are going to Lubbock. Do you have a certain first message that works for you, or do you use original message for each one? I use a no risk message, so a lot of it is the same, but I kind of alter the end of it depending on the person. I may be a copy paster for the majority of the message, but I always try to end it with something that pertains to them, because I want them to know. And this just goes out to everyone too, because you got to think that most people probably have gotten targeted one way or another from someone in network marketing. Somehow, some way they've gotten a message, and you want to make sure your message shines out of every single other person that they have sent. So you don't want to send a cookie cutter message. You want them to know that you specifically went to their page. You know what's similar or what's going on in their life from the first 9 photos that you can see in their bio. So, I mean, you want to personalize it a little bit. Any more questions?
This is just, I don't know, I'm sure you know this, but so how many distributors, do you remember how many distributors you signed the last couple months?
I think I'm like at 25, 20.
Last month?
27. No, like between January and February, I think is like around 25. And then I think I'm like almost to 10 this month.
So y'all, she sent 1,300 messages this month, and she signed 10 distributors. Like, if that doesn't tell you that it's a numbers game, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love Tiffany. She's fantastic on social media. She is very shy. Like, I can speak to that just from hanging around her a lot and being friends with her, but she's not doing anything different than I'm doing. But you know how many I'm sending a day? Like, I'm feeling good if I'm sending 10, y'all, that's on me. But I'm just saying, of course, I'm not going to go be like that Enroller, you know. Her social media is better than mine too. I will say that. It's not just that. But she's doing so much more of it. So like, if I can say like, I want to enroll 25 distributors in a month, but I got to go send the amount of messages that Tiffany's willing to send to do that, you know? And I think more than anything, you know, that's a gut check for me. It should be a gut check for everybody on this Zoom, quite honestly, because I would venture to say that nobody else is sending 100 messages a day. Because if you were, you're probably getting that email from Pam Souter every month that says you're a top enroller. Come have a chat with me on the phone, like she's gotten the last 6 months. So,
and I'll say that, you know, I get no's. I mean, I get so many no's, but I know that if I did not get 100 no's a week, that I did not do the best that I could at the end of the week. I mean, you should be aiming to get 100 no's a week, because if you got 100 no's, then you're bound to get some yeses. You're bound to get some conversations started. I mean, no's are just a part of the business. I'm a firm believer that a no is just a maybe later. And I don't know if she's still on or not, but, you know, it just, my girl Chelsea, who declined me for 2 years, y'all, 2 years. You just can't take no and completely write someone off.
I agree. I'm I'm not sure that very many of mine have ever told me yes on the first time.
I don't know. And I was thinking about that the other day too. You know, I don't think I've ever I've had someone message me out of the clear blue from watching me that was ready. But I don't think I've ever messaged someone that just was like, send me your website. I'm done. I'm down. Like, I mean, it just doesn't happen that way. And, you know, I want you to think of it too, because I have some people that, you know, on my team that I've come across where they're like, okay, well, I have 10 potentials. And so they're working on those 10 potentials, but they don't continue adding anyone else to the list. They think that they have those 10, and so they stop messaging new people. Well, you got to think of your business kind of almost as a funnel and continuously pour people in. I mean, you see sometimes on Sunday Night Shout Out, I may have like 2 people that I signed. And then the next week I may have like 8. Well, it's not that I'm doing anything different. It just happened to be that those people just finally poured out of that funnel. People that I've been working on for so long. I mean, some people may only take a little bit of talking to, and some people may need to be talked to for years or months. Sorry.
It's exactly right. And I was guilty of that in the beginning, like only being like, but I was like, man, I got like 10 people. And then you know what? Like within 4 days, 3 of them might have signed, 3 of them might have gone MIA, like they just, ghost you. And then 4 say no. And then where you're back at 0. So it's kind of like, doing nothing for 3 months and then trying to pick your business up and work it for 3 months and then setting it back down. Like it will be more frustrating in the end. And I can say that because I've done it, like this fall, I made every excuse in the world. Like I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm pregnant, I'm everything. And like now in January, I'm like, I'm getting my butt kicked on enrollments. I mean, but it's my fault. Like it's not anybody else's fault. But it's the same concept, I would say, is stopping when you get excited. You have 10 potentials,
And I'll be very real with y'all. There's times where I can't send 100 messages. My mom, she had brain surgery earlier last year, and it was just crazy. It was a crazy time. But because I sent maybe 4 days of 100 messages, so I spent 400 messages that week, it gave me that break that I could spend with her. I hear you, honey. I'm not giving him nothing. He wants a donut. I'm the worst mom ever right now. But you know what I mean? So there's going to be times, don't beat yourself up. If you do decide to like jump in and start sending crazy messages, don't beat yourself up on days when you can't. But it's because I send so much that I get to do be there for my mom and to do those kind of things too. So, but that's just my goal. That is my everyday goal. And some days I reach it, and some days if something stands in the way, I don't. But I don't feel bad on those days because I know what I've done the rest of the week.
Yep.
So
yeah. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Chat. I don't know what Tammy's talking about over there. I gotta remember what I said to make that comment. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to stop the recording, and I will get Tiffany to send me that no risk message, and I'll compile a bunch that I've sent recently and send them to the chats. And then I will send the recording to you, Tiffany, as soon as I get it uploaded. Sound good?
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. Thank y'all.
All right. Go love on your boy now.
Oh, I know.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank y'all.